Hello everyone, my name is Hectic and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk a bit about my opinion on the recent Spectre changes in Valorant, and this is basically a follow-up to my very old video that I posted very recently about how I was basically laughing at these Spectre changes, and after Riot implemented these changes, I'm still laughing a little bit. Yeah, let's get into this. So, patch what was 5.12, so 5.12, they're going to implement, or they have implemented, some changes to the Spectre that basically makes it worse at longer ranges, and ADS is a bit worse. Yes. However, these patch notes were revealed near like patch 5.10 ish, I think. Actually, no, I don't think that is correct. I was just trying to base that off of my other video. No, that's not correct. It was later in. It was before that patch was implemented, and I heard about that and I reviewed that. I'm like, dude, yeah, Riot was basically memeing with that one. I still think they do. I don't think in the current state, I don't see a reason to buy a Spectre anymore. Not when the Stinger exists. And I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again, and you'll probably hear me do this again and again. Right now at the current state, when that Stinger was buffed, there's just no reason to buy a Spectre anymore. I do generally think that the Spectre is or should be that bad. Yeah, they buffed the Stinger to make it competitive, and it went above and beyond on that. Yes, it's if we're talking pre buffs to the Stinger and pre nerfs to the Spectre, what the Spectre has, I think it has always been bad at long range. Yes, and you certainly don't want ADS with the Spectre. The Stinger's burst fire was better at longer range, so Stinger was better in that option. But the only reason why Spectre might have been a more viable option was closer range. Yeah, the Stinger back a while ago wasn't that great up close. Yes, it had the fire rate, it had the time to kill, but the spread was a little bit too much, and you had to time your paths and whatnot a lot more than you can now. And it was just better if you wanted to play up that close. You either buy a shotgun or you buy a Spectre, which was much more reliable in that sense. Yes. And nowadays, if you want to play close up, I say buy a Stinger. Yes. Because they changed the accuracy overall of the Stinger. Up close, its spray is much better. At longer range, the burst fire is a little bit better. They counteracted that. I think they put in a little bit extra spread, or at least not as rapid that you could do. But it's still pretty good. There's been so many times that I've popped somebody with the Stinger burst fire when they were using even snipers. And I'm like, bruh, like, it's incredibly good right now. The thing that gets me the most right now is these changes have been implemented, confirmed, implemented, and it hasn't changed. It doesn't look like that it's changed the Spectre one bit. It hasn't changed the pick rate, and it looks like it hasn't changed the performance at all. Yes. What really gets me about the Spectre, and what really irks me about it, is the fact that somehow its long range accuracy is freaking insane, when it really should not be. On paper, and so far from my performance, it should not be that good. Yet it is. I get sniped from across the map all the time with people using a Spectre. I'm like, there's no way this thing happens. So unless if there's some secret that I'm not knowing about with the Spectre, I just don't get this. Why the Spectre has never been that good at long range. It's I even back in my early days, I didn't even get picked off that much from long range with a Spectre. Yeah, because nobody ADS'd with it, nobody did it. I don't think many people got down the tap fire method with it. I just don't understand it. Do I still have clips of me popping off with the Spectre? Yeah. But that was also because the Stinger up close was not that versatile. It served a good long range purpose, but at that point you might as well buy a Bulldog or Guardian or something if you're gonna use it long range and up close. You might as well buy the Spectre because it outdoes it. But nowadays, Stinger is better at both, yet the Spectre keeps coming out on top. So either there's just something. This is what annoys me with it, because I quite honestly, and most people are gonna jot this down in the comments and saying I have skill issue and whatnot. I've legitimately tried the Spectre myself. I practiced with it, whatnot, then tried it in game, and it, for me, what through my testing of it, this Spectre is absolute garbage. Yes, you can't even argue that it's good because of the price point of 1600. I would again argue, because of its performance and all that, why not buy a Stinger? It's 950 credits. If you need to save, that's the ultimate save, not a Spectre. Yes, so what's going on here? Like, I want to understand that. Part of me thinks, like, these were supposed to be big changes to the Spectre, yet it doesn't change A in pick rate, B in the performance at all, unless literally every single player has compensated for those changes already. Which, if it has, yeah, that brings us back to a subject of Riot doesn't know how to balance some stuff. So I don't get it. I was going into that patches, I was reading those notes, and I'm like, dude, I don't think the Spectre was good at all, and they're just hitting it again. Yeah, I get that it had like the highest pick rate out of everything. I've even checked nowadays. I think it has the highest pick rate besides Phantom and Vandal. It has like the highest pick rate out of all of those. I think that's not a rifle. If not, it even beats out some rifles. So right now I'm just confused, because if it's just me and my skill within that, then okay. But I personally, from what I've seen, my personal play experience, I've never found the Spectre to be that good. And yet it's destroying the meta by a lot. And it's I just don't know. Yeah. So what I need to do, this would be a whole nother video, but I'm also throwing in this point is the nerfs to the Spectre. How it has literally not changed the freaking Spectre one bit, it looks like. I'm like, wasn't this supposed to be a massive change to the Spectre? Like, you're memeing now. Yes. I don't quite think that you know how to balance things to the greatest. You're definitely not terrible, but I don't think the greatest. The state of Valorant's balance is, it's alright, but not the greatest that it could be, to alleviate some things. And just this change with the Spectre and stuff, it's like, there's been times where it's like, oh yeah, I've used Stinger, then get outdueled by a Spectre, so I'm like, is the Stinger no longer good? Did they buff the Stinger, yet the Spectre still reigned supreme and whatnot? Because I remember when that buff changed, like, Stinger was well used over the Spectre. That's why it took a little bit. That's why it was not initially. Not many people did that. At least from my play experience, every time I've used a stinger and used it properly, I've gotten some value out of it. Yeah. It's outdueled a Spectre. I just never go to the Spectre. And I try not to say the same things over and over, but what's going on here? Is it me? Or is it really the state of these things? Because I feel like, at this rate, with the Stinger being so good at the Spectre is deleted. And if it's not, these two are going to fight to be competitive forever. And that's not, going back to the issue of balance, that's actually not great for the game of Valorant, because at that point you want to make it competitive and have an option, truly make it some strengths, keep it at where it's at, but then amp up or lower the price points of both. Yes, make it exactly even or very, very close to even, and then let us choose based off of that which style do we want, and like B, which would performs better off of that. You can't make them exactly even, otherwise there's no point in having both. You gotta have one better than the other in this case. So at this point, where do we balance? Because right now it seems like both are competitive, or Spectre's pushing back down the Stinger, and the Spectre will never be caught again. However, I just think this Spectre has fallen into the hole and pretty much died. However, just most of my games, unfortunately, I haven't recorded a lot. If you see, just the Spectre has just been dominating. Yeah? So, what's going on here? Anybody know? Let me know in the comments down below. I just wanted to shout out this little rant, and I just think if this is the state that Riot is balancing things, yikes for the future of Valorant. Yep. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. My name's Hectic. See you guys in the next one.